that out the way, and this should be a lot smoother. But let me check. Always check. Can never check too much.
Sure can.
Um, let's see. Turn my. Oh yeah, with YouTube, it just because I scheduled it, I guess
Mm-hmm.
it
For
doesn't.
130.
Yeah, it goes exactly at 1:30. But the other channels though, it should be. This is good. This is good. All right. All right. All right. And I'm glad we did. Look, we can call that last one our pilot episode. Our pilot.
Yeah.
Let's see. Gonna refresh. Try this again. Okay, not yet. It's live. Hold on. Okay. 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 We are here. How my sounds? Hey, can you hear it? Could you hear it?
A little bit.
A little bit. Okay. Okay. You know, I'm gonna turn that up just a little bit. Gotta get everything smooth. Get everything smooth. But yes, 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 we are live here once again. Well, those of y'all don't know once again because we had to take that last one, take that down, or at least take it off the live. But we were having some technical difficulties, Mark and and I think we good this time. So, Mark, you want to give them a little bit of an intro about who you are and what you do and what you like about what you do.
Okay, so I am a WordPress web developer. I do a lot of work in the university system. I'm also a tutor for WordPress. So if you're looking for somebody to teach you WordPress, or if you have an issue with WordPress, I'm your guy. I can help you diagnose and fix issues. I enjoy doing both. I love educating, and so that's why I love working in the university system. And I love, again, with educating, that's why I love tutoring. So those are my two loves. And WordPress is my thing that allows me to do that.
Nice, nice. Tutoring, working for universities, using WordPress. Okay, when it comes to your passions outside of your career and your work, is there anything, and you don't have to disclose everything, but is there anything that the typical people don't know about you that you like outside of the career fields?
I guess I'm a big movie buff. I
Okay.
have a Regal pass, so I'm
Oh, shout
always
out
at
to the Regal. Man, we got a Dr. Marco.
at a
The movie pass. Hey, you gotta have the movie passes these days because they add up,
yeah,
man.
it's expensive. Yeah,
It's
I
expensive.
ended up buying the this year's collector cup and popcorn thing too. So it's like $10 a refill, both of them. So like I said,
Nice.
I love going to the movies and checking new movies out. I'm a big food and wine guy, so I like going to food, wine, and beer festivals too.
Okay, okay, okay.
Uh, and I I think another big thing about me a lot of people don't know is I'm big on pho. Uh,
Mm,
I love eating it. So every new city I go to, I try and find a place.
nice, nice. I love pho as well myself. Do you eat with the chopsticks or do you eat with the fork?
I'm a fork guy. I try the chopstick.
Ah,
Yeah.
ah.
Hey, but hey, let me tell you the most embarrassing funny thing though.
What?
Right? So I went and taught in a course in China
Uh,
for a week, and
uh-huh.
so I was staying on their compound, and they had a lunchroom, and so by like the third day, the waitress would automatically go ahead and get me a fork and spoon and knife and bring it to me.
Automatically, like, she knew exactly who
Yeah.
you were a regular.
Yeah, mhm.
Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, I mean, I have no listen, I have no judgments. I know people who eat with different utensils in the way
Yeah,
they wanna eat. But yeah, I definitely love pho, however you pronounce it,
yeah,
tomato, tomato. But I definitely I learned to love eating with the chopsticks the more I got used to it, mainly because I can get so much, um I don't know, it's just something nostalgic about it for me.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, more like the ambiance of nostalgia. Um, but
I
but
I
yeah,
think it's I think it's because it's simple, right? It's it's you don't have to use all these different, things to eat. You just use your chopstick.
the chopsticks do a lot. Like, they do carry over a lot of different food types. That
Yeah, mhm,
spoons and forks and small salad forks and small forks and you know what I'm saying? We got how many different kind of knives do we have and forks and spoons,
mhm.
teaspoons and big spoons and man, like yeah,
Well, and then you got, like, sporks and
fork. Man, we got all types of stuff over here in the West, man.
Mhm,
It is interesting. But yeah, that's one of
mhm.
my favorite type of food. So yeah, you like
Yeah.
movies, you said wine. Did you say wine before?
Yeah, wine, beer,
Beer.
and food events. I actually, used to host, a wine tasting, a while ago before I got super busy.
Mm,
It was a new venture to kinda get me out of my shell, and practice and fail,
mhm,
and whatnot at the same time. I enjoyed it. So mine was a little bit different than most.
mhm,
Um, with me, I had a wine some there to talk about the wines and stuff. But what I did that put me above a lot was I paired it with food. And when I paired it with food, I had the actual cook there or
mm,
actual chef, not cook. Let me get it right, chef. I had the
okay,
chef there, um, and so between the wine some and the chef, they talked about the pairings. The chef talked about the food
mm,
and the flavors and stuff you're tasting in the food. And the
mhm,
wine some would talk about like how different wines pair with these foods, and we would taste them.
That sounds like a good time. I mean, do you think
Yeah,
that most people you think that most people in the tech world and especially folks that are WordPress users and developers and bloggers, like, do you think a lot of those people lean more towards having liking those kind of outings or liking those kind of experiences? Like, we all know for the most part, people who work in this like
yeah,
coffee, tea.
yeah.
Do you think that they like wine more, while they're working or while they're on their desk, or do you think it'll be more towards something else, like a beer or just a hard? Because WordPressers could party hard at these word camps,
Yeah, yeah.
You
I
think we
think
shot?
I probably think beer more,
Uh-huh.
but wine is up there. But I think probably more than tech.
Mhm.
It's probably more beer.
More beer.
And you got your regular beers, and then you have your craft beers too.
I can see like the craft beers. Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, I know everybody doesn't obviously drink, and especially in any sector. Well, there are some sectors that people do more, but when it comes to WordPress, I know um, like events like when when we met at WP campus and everything. We had an outing ourselves, and that was
Yeah,
an event. You know what I mean? And so
man, my man couldn't handle the heat worth
yeah,
nothing.
and the heat was crazy. New Orleans, man, New Orleans. That was crazy. It was fun. It was fun,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong at all,
Mhm.
but it was still crazy. That heat was crazy. But
Yeah.
no, it
Yeah.
just to that extent, like, yeah, we go down there for an event, we go down there to
Mhm.
learn, we go down there for
Yeah.
a conference, but we also have this other side, this the
Yeah.
evening. I wanna have some fun. I wanna lay my hair down even when you ain't got no
Mhm.
hair like us. But, I wanna lay my hair down type vibe.
I mean, that's why I love conferences just to be able to explore different cities as well. Because every city has their unique thing that they're known for.
Mm. Yes, yes, and New Orleans was one of them known for heat.
Yes.
Not just regular heat, y'all. Like, I'm talking about humid heat, like, the devil is turning up the thermostat,
what?
like, it's
What? It was probably like 80 at 10 o'clock at night.
man, 80 at man, I'm talking about it was
80, 85 at 10 o'clock at night.
yeah, yeah. The food was good, though. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong.
Oh yeah, the food was great.
Food was great. We definitely enjoyed that, and the overall conference is good. So yeah, okay. So for you this year, are you going to? I know we touched on it before,
Yeah.
but for the audience, are you going to WordCamp US? And what are your thoughts about it in Portland and the increase in prices?
I don't know if I'm
And what is
going.
WordCamp, by the way? For like, let just give people like a
Okay.
small summary of what it is for those who don't know.
Usually work camps is a place where people throughout the community can come together and learn through different talks, workshops, and enlightening rounds, and it's just a great place to learn. Um, for me, I like learning how other people do stuff, right? Because sometimes the way I do it might not be the best way, or there might be something I never thought about. And so I love coming to those conversations and taking something away from them.
Hmm. Hmm. Have you been to now? The one part I want to add to what you were saying, because WordCamp is definitely everything as far as what you said. I would say when it comes to like these bigger ones, those are more, I would say, geared towards the talks and the network and everything, but it's more
Yeah,
of a conference type of thing. And then there's like word camps, or well, there's meetups that you have, and then there's local word camps too.
yeah,
So
yeah,
local word camps that they emulate the bigger flagship. There's one flagship in US, one flagship up in Asia, and then one flagship in Europe. So that's the for those who don't know, just give you guys just a little bit more that they're like Mark said, they're places where you're going to see lightning talks, workshops, panelists, panel rounds, just kind of 45 minutes to an hour, just a session, all type of things like that. But it's kind of like WP Campus is where you definitely can engage, learn some things, but you also meet people too. You
yeah.
know,
N- net- networking, networking is a big thing. I mean, there's a lot of connect. Like you, I met you through a camp, so
Mhm.
right. It's like I get to meet a lot of people and network, and so you never know. I might need to bounce an idea off of somebody, or I might see you working with a tool, or and ask you about it. So it's a good thing to network.
It is. Have you been to one of the flagship work camps yet?
I haven't yet. I've been thinking about WordCamp US because it's in Portland. I went to WP Campus when it was in Portland,
Mm,
and I had a blast.
mm,
Uh, I love Portland. I flew in a few days early
nice.
and explored Portland and did crazy stuff. I went white water rafting.
Oh
Um,
man, he said white water. Hold up, y'all. Hold up.
yeah, and so we actually jumped off a short little waterfall.
Oh wow.
Um, and they told us like when you go down, you're gonna hit the water and it's gonna feel like a mini car wreck.
Oh man.
And he's like, we're gonna go about 6 feet underneath the water and then pop up. And we did exactly that, but our boat flipped. Yeah. Let me tell you what, this Florida boy here was the first one to land.
Oh, man, so you said you swam so fast. So
Yeah.
okay, okay.
And then, also when I went there, I went, to the Rose Garden, which is absolutely beautiful. I went to the Japanese garden there. I went to uh, Mount the mountain. I forgot that it's not Mount Hood. The mountain up there, and then I took a tour all the way to the Pacific Ocean
Oh, nice.
stuff, and so I enjoyed that. But I really love Portland. They're big on breweries, and they got a lot of food truck districts
Hmm,
as well. So Portland's fun. The hotel I stayed in, it was kind of right by their, I think it was their port.
mhm.
It was a nice hotel.
I think, well, I'm not sure, I don't think they did the announcements yet, but let me, for the work camp just so we can, like, just show real quick.
And
But yeah,
so yeah, and price wise, what they changed it from free to 100.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That's that's
Mm,
that's been a big talk of, conversation as well.
Well, I mean, for me, you know, like this stuff costs money at the same time. So,
Yeah.
um, if you want to have it at some of these bigger venues, it's going to cost some money as well. And then right, there's a lot of people who probably registered that didn't show up, right, when you're giving out free stuff. So,
That's true. I mean, it's one of those things, um, where yeah, even though it's an open source and this is volunteer, a lot of volunteer work, they figured and said, we need, yep, right here, 100.
mhm,
We need more financial support.
yeah,
Not just coming for because this is what they say is the real ticket. This is right
yeah,
here. They call it a micro sponsor, y'all, but this is what they say it's really worth. And they say because it's open source and because it's for the people that we use this price. Now, whether that's completely true or not,
yeah.
is
But
uh,
I'm saying though, when you look at some of these other conferences, prices, $100
yeah,
really ain't.
yeah, it's
Hey,
yeah. This is yeah. Conferences that are 2 or 3 days long usually are in the hundreds, if not
yeah,
thousands. So it's understandable. It was only a matter of time, but what we're pointing out is that they used to be 30, 40, $50. It's been
mhm.
going up. And this was the biggest leap because it was $50 last year.
Okay, okay, $50.
Yeah, so it doubled. You know what I'm saying? So does it stay here for a while? Does it go to 200, 300? Um,
Well, like I said, I think it's all about location, right? Where's WordCamp 2025 gonna be, right?
s-
I think
speaking
the
of,
the venues and what kind of food they're gonna have, and the technology.
I mean, and let's talk about that because okay, so for you, it would be your first time going to a work camp.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been to all 3 in one.
Okay.
I have a little perspective coming from the food perspective of, okay, so and this is why I like having this type
Yeah.
of space and platform because we could talk about it, you know what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Like, but, I would say for me, this is just my opinion, and my experience, I can't talk for everybody, but Athens, Greece had some of the best food.
Okay.
Um no, and then I went to WordCamp, Taipei, Taiwan, Asia, this a couple months ago, and that had some crazy, amazing food. They had some crazy food, but that was at the after party. I had crazy food
Yeah.
not after party, excuse me, but the speakers party at the actual the lunch.
Mhm.
Not so it was a little we were a little disappointed, at least I was, and
Mm.
I was what was disappointed, but WordCamp US in DC, they had a good lunch. Like,
Okay.
it was like one of the things where you're like, "Oh, this is for lunch?" So
Well, and so that costs money, right? And so,
yeah, it does.
but and so a lot of times too, it also with food, after working with the university system, sometimes it's based on venue, right? Some venues don't let people bring in outside food, so you got to use their own food service, so sometimes their own food service ain't that good.
That's true.
And some of them let you bring in outside vendors. So venue plays a lot in the price.
That's true. I give you. I gotta
Mhm.
give you points on that. Just to it, that a lot of them don't let you use bring in outside, and
Yeah, and those costs to use the in-house vendors ain't cheap neither. You telling me I'm getting a piece of bread with ham and a slice of cheese and like it's $5 each.
I was gonna say $10 a plate.
Yeah, T yeah.
You add
Well,
up.
I mean, well, I'm saying though, that's what they charge. Like the word camp is like $5 each, and the word camp got to
Oh,
charge
yeah,
like
yeah.
like
Them
$10.
plates cost. Them plates cost. It's that
Yeah.
plate is they looking at that as numbers. Okay, well, we gotta
Mhm.
feed people lunch 2 times a day. I mean,
Yeah.
1 time a day, but we
Mhm.
gotta feed them,
Mhm.
snacks,
Yeah. Yep,
beverages,
snacks.
right?
Yeah, then the after party, sometimes they have an after
Already
party.
written out the different rooms because each speaker,
Mhm.
they get rooms, to speak in.
Yeah.
They all speak from one room.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it definitely adds up. But yeah, I mean, just in general, I'm glad that you have experienced a WordPress, based
Yeah.
conference, and I've experienced a WordPress based conference, and I would suggest and encourage anybody who's getting into the WordPress world to at least try out a conference, whether it's
Yeah.
campus or WordCamp.
Yeah, they got a word camp, forgot the name of the site, where you can find word camps, near you.
They do.
Um,
You want to show it or
but
hold on?
I don't remember the site name.
I know it's I know Meetup which
Yeah, Meetup has a lot.
has yeah, it has the WordCamps on there on their
Yeah.
WordPress. You look at WordPress Meetup, you'll see you'll see that just for anybody who
Oh, yeah, let me share my screen.
that you guys can get you. There you go. Yep, WordCamp Central. That's what it is.
Yeah, so, you can see some from all around the world, and they got Buffalo, coming up, in the US. So you can search there and find different work camps that are coming up across the world.
Hmm. Yeah, this is a great resource to be able to use
Mhm.
to be able to use. So moving, I'm going looking at our notes here. Now, what are some of the things that you use when you're testing a website? When we talk about using WordCamps. If I'm just gonna
Yeah.
correlate to, we used about using these type of web WordCamps in these different conferences and places for purposes of you can like you said, Mark, test your ideas out. Say you have something you need, get some feedback or some help on. Okay, when it comes to testing site performance, whether it's speed or whether it's efficiency, what type of tools or what type of methods do you do when it comes to testing out sites?
So testing, usually I first start out with a page speed test, just to see what's the site's performance is for Google, uh, and then from that, um, sometimes I use Query Monitor, the plugin, developer plugin, and it allows you to see what scripts and different stuff might be slowing down your site and stuff. And so from there, I might turn on the WP debug uh, and create a log to see what the log says. And then performance, I like the plugin Perf Matters. Um, it's the performance plugin. It just has a lot of features built in to kind of help speed up your site. It allows you to turn off a lot of the built-in WordPress features that most sites don't even need.
Mhm,
And then, it has stuff like lazy load, stuff like that. And then I'm getting into uh, accessibility checker.
mhm.
to test to do some automated accessibility checking of sites as well.
So you touched on a few corners there. Like you said, mentioned accessibility, um, loading
More-
of certain things. Keeping that logs, looking at your logs, and then looking at what site health type of
Yeah,
tool
yeah. Well, page speed.
and page
Um,
speed as
yeah.
well
Mhm.
and speed.
Just see how fast it's loading.
So would you say that looking at performance after naming those categories or naming tools in those categories, looking at a performance, is that more of a combination of things, or is that one particular thing?
Oh, it's a performance is a oof, that's a combination of things. So much stuff can affect performance. Um, one could be hosting. Um, you can have uh, a CDN can help deliver it faster. Um, sometimes your image sizes or your image formats. Uh, sometimes it's the way scripts load. Um, man, there's so much that can affect performance.
Mm,
Sometimes the way certain plugins are coded, like um, yeah. So there's a lot that can affect performance, and then sometimes caching is your site being cached or not, or how is it being cached? There's a
mm.
lot of stuff that can go into performance.
And there's people out there, I'm very sure, that don't know what caching is, especially if you're listening to this in the future. And you're just kind of catching up on earlier episodes, or you're listening to it right now, and you haven't been in this world of website development, of WordPress development. And either way, I would say that as we go along the journey, we'll do more explanation of some of the tools. Because I know I can't speak for you, Mark, but I can definitely say I believe that it is true. A lot of times when we're experts in our field, I've heard this multiple times by other experts that we get so jargony with how we
Mhm.
describe things because we know what they are, we know what they do.
Yeah.
And so one thing, especially when it comes to our diverse community, underrepresented community, I'm not saying it's not something that doesn't flow to anybody and anywhere, but especially to the diverse community, to underrepresented communities out there, they don't have as much access to information or education or even the skills and tools to be able to disseminate, between all the information that we have access to. It could be on the opposite. You got too much access to information, but you don't have the skills and tools. So I would
Mhm.
definitely say to people out there, don't worry. That's a long way of me saying, don't worry. We're going to break a lot of things down over time, and then what we do say things in certain ways that you may not understand. From time to time, we'll break it down at the moment. And there's other times where we got to break things down fully later,
Mhm.
because we don't have time to do everything. But I understand what you were saying, but I just wanted to
Yep.
make sure that we
Okay.
make that.
Yes. So it's funny that you mentioned that. A lot of time during my tutoring sessions, when we're getting ready to close a tutoring session, a lot of people are like, "Wow, I didn't realize there's so much that goes into development and stuff like that." Like if you want to start from scratch, there is a high learning curve. Um,
Yes, there's
but
a highlighter curve.
But I mean, once you learn that curve, it provides a lot of freedom. Like I said, a lot of my tutoring clients are people I work with to do full site builds. The full site builds is usually around 10 sessions. And in between sessions, I give them homework. And so they go and try and build stuff themselves. And I let them know, right? Like, if you get stuck on something, send me an email. I'll either send you an article or a quick video to help you kind of explain the topic a little bit. And before next session, and before each session, I ask them, do they have any questions or anything they were confused on? Because my goal is to, hopefully make sure they have an understanding. And so I have a lot of clients, after they build their website, they're able to do the edits themselves, and it amazes me. And they'll come back to me, and I'll start to say, "I need you to do," and then they've already done it, right? They've learned how to do it. I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah,
Like, and so, it's a, great experience to, see people be able to build stuff themselves. And then, I do have, a lot of them that come back, like, every 3 to 6 months, just to get a little, checkup, or maybe if they have a new feature they're thinking about, and we discuss that, like, they tell me I want to do this, and I
mhm,
try and figure out why they want to do it, and so make sure we talk through the whole process. Like, is this needed? Like, do you actually need to install another plugin, or can we just use what we have,
yeah,
um, and build it? Yeah, it might take a little bit of time to build it, but it's one less plugin you gotta worry about, and stuff.
I agree. That's a good point you make. That does, you know, add and extend the point that I was making as well. And for the most part, you're letting people know that it does take time to understand things, to get concepts, to get caught up on a lot of these different features and terminologies, processes that web development, website building can entail. So yeah, for most people out there, especially who are just joining in on this journey, because it is a journey,
It is
whether
a journey.
it's yourself or whether you're hiring somebody to do it. um, I would say the one thing that we can help with is just give you more encouragement, give you strategies, give you ideas in between conversations and demonstrations, but just give you something that you could use practically. And
So,
that's the key.
my boy Maestro is gonna come out with something soon. It's gonna be a guide, and Imma tell you, if you complete the guide, and if you're looking for a web, it'll help you and help the web developer know what you want, right? If you're building the site yourself, it'll guide you, on things you need to think about, and what you need to do. If it's for a developer, it'll, give them, your branding, the rules, what you're looking for. Because I think a lot of people who are building a website, they just would say, "Build me a website," but they don't actually know what they want. They don't know who the website is for,
Yeah.
and stuff. And so, the guide he's getting ready to come out with is going to, help help with that.
And that's what we're looking to do, is to be a guide, to
Yeah.
give guides, um guides in the form of demonstrations, whether the templates, planners,
Mhm.
workbooks, um case studies. I know we'll get to that point at some point in time, be able to give people case studies. That's one of my spaces and points where I want to share more of those. I like sharing ideas and sharing how to do it, how to do something, but also giving people stories of victories
Yeah.
that came with the challenge. I think that those are important for people to know. And I'm sure you got them too. I'm sure you got ideas for those as well.
Yeah. That's something I need to do too, is more case studies, on some of the stuff I do.
It's things that we all especially solopreneurs or small teams, could use more of. So it ain't you can't have too many case studies.
You
You can't have too many.
can't, you
you know,
can't.
you may talk about them too much, but you can't
Yeah,
have too many.
because each case study speaks to, a different topic or a different, potential client.
Yep, potential client and a potential problem or a
Yeah.
different solution. You know,
Mhm,
type of thing, a different goal. That's what
mhm.
the case studies that I would say are kind of the fundamentals of some of the best case studies have those elements of
Yeah.
there is a goal a person wants to get to. They have a problem of getting to that goal, and they come to you for the solution to get to that
I
goal.
mean, right? It's basically like a good plot,
It
right?
is. That
It's a good plot.
the journey, the hero's journey.
Mhm.
The movie script, like it's that same thing. So that's what case
Yeah.
studies are.
Mhm.
So yeah, I think that we're gonna definitely help give people ideas and encouragement once we come up with those. But yeah, as far as your point on the guide itself, we'll be dropping that soon and sharing that with the people. And hopefully, um, and I don't want to say hopefully, but I would say for the most part, I believe that it is going to be a valuable tool in a lot of people's arsenals that are either a designer, for example, somebody that could take that and then put their design on it from a website standpoint. It could be for somebody who is neither a designer or a developer and just wants a starting point to add their guidelines, their
Mhm.
website guidelines on a website business. We'll say business plan, with quotations around it, type of thing. Because it takes from other parts of your marketing strategy, right? So without going too deep in the weeds, I think most people listening to this understand the term marketing. They're getting more used to the term branding, and you just got to realize you got to have a plan for both. What most people don't do is they don't create a plan for their website. They don't look at that as powerful as branding or marketing. So you want to have a plan for each one. But the cool thing is you could take elements because they overlap each other. You take things from your other plans and you put it, you mix it with your other plans. So when you're specifically looking at um, one plan to help you do one thing, you at least have the important things from the other plans on that one plan using this. So you don't got to even go back to the other plans. You only got to look at all the information. I think that helps people give more of an understanding, um, in my opinion, more of an understanding of, yeah, you got a plan because if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. So you got a plan. You can't get away from that part. However, if you separate the plans for like the big parts of your business, separate those plans and then say, okay, what are the patterns? What are the patterns between the plans, the trends between the plans? What are the little nuggets I could use that each of these plans, I gotta have this. I can't leave this out of another plan. I gotta have this. If you can see those things, I'm telling you, it's a wrap. You're gonna be able to skyrocket because now you're moving with a GPS system versus just a old school map.
And, like, almost everything in life has a pattern, and stuff, and once you figure those patterns out, or even if it's potential clients, right? Once you figure their patterns out, you'll be able to know when, where, and what to do. Uh, figuring those out, and systems too, and creating systems, to help you develop stuff faster.
That's the key.
So, so there's a lot of pre-planning and systems and
And touch
stuff.
on, I mean, that part I was gonna
Okay.
get to next, but I'm glad you brought it up now because the plan, the strategy, they're the first aspect of you being able to create a better system. If we want to say anybody can create a system, well, that's because ain't no originality out here. Nothing's being reinvented. We're using technologies of technologies to create new technologies. Same way we're
Mhm,
using words of words and things of things to create new things. So nothing is truly original these days. Almost
no.
nothing. So even the
Mhm,
systems we make are created from other systems.
yeah.
What I'm saying? Like the system. But if you have a plan, you can realize what system you should go into to borrow, to use, take advantage of to create your system that helps your plan. But yeah, go ahead and talk a little bit about the systems.
There's different systems. I know from this from more of a developer designer standpoint. I've been learning more about the atomic system design system, which is pretty cool. It has more of like a sciency type thing to it.
All right.
And so the first step is your what's called your subatomic, which is more of your branding, your typography, your colors, and stuff like that. Getting those down, which is in the workbook.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
uh, and then we have what are for web, what are your atoms. And so your atoms in WordPress, I guess. Hold on, let me share my screen.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, the atoms are more of your components. And components are like your individual pieces, or individual objects. So in WordPress, especially with cadence, right? We can say like a heading tag is a component, um, and what that means is, you know, what does your heading tags look like, right? Do they have a color to them? What's the font size? And getting all that down, and then another component is a button, right? And so the color, the hover color, um, is it does it have border radius, or stuff? And so basically all these blocks kinda
Mm-hmm.
are like individual um, components, or atoms. And then from that, you have your molecules.
Mm-hmm.
And a molecule is, more of a simple grouping of atoms. So a molecule is taking, maybe the title and the button and creating a pattern. So I'm gonna use the cadence library real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Let me delete this off here real quick. So we're gonna go with the cadence library. And so your patterns in WordPress um, could be seen. Oh, that's not the one. Your patterns in WordPress can be seen as your molecules. So this one, it has several components, right? This
Mm-hmm.
image is a component. This heading is a component. These are all components which kind of make up a molecule.
Mm-hmm.
And so from there, we can add multiple molecules together, and that can make a. We'll just do this.
You're saying that, what does it make the atom?
So, so when you put several molecules together, that creates a organism, which is um, a complex. It's probably made up of several molecules and atoms. Um, and so each section on this page is a molecule that has atoms inside, and atoms inside of it, and this whole page template is a living, breathing organism that comes together. So probably go more deep into that, more, especially with iconic templates and stuff like that.
Are there any now I think for our average user, and I'm
Yeah,
gonna always break it down to them
yeah,
because that's the kind of people I believe are gonna be drawn towards these, to us, to these conversations, to things that we're kicking here, the knowledge that we're kicking. I know we're gonna, definitely get people who are more advanced too as well, but I definitely will say average user, average people with amazing vision and dreams, they're going to be watching uh, this channel, watching our platform, watching, I'm sure, watching you on your own platform. Um, for them, when you break it down, is there any visual cue or visual, or do you think that this is something that we should turn, or you should look into creating some type of image or infographic around? Because I know what would have been
yeah.
helpful is
So I am. I'm gonna use the iconic template library
okay.
and go more into depth about it, in depth of, about the atomic design. Right now, I just did this real quick
Yeah,
using
yeah,
cadence stuff, and so
and
I'll probably make a actual website using some of the iconic design stuff.
and I think even outside of the development part, because from what I'm hearing, it's more metaphorical. You're
Yeah,
taking different
yeah.
concepts together that don't live in the
Mhm.
same world typically and say, "Hey,
So
there's correlation between them."
yeah. So, like, right? So, this is an atom, right? Your button, and when before you even develop the website, let's say, like, I want my buttons to have these type of styles, right? You have this one where it has the white outline of it, so that might be one style. And then you might, well, that's all, but you might have a one that's fully colored as well. So it's designing each and every little component first. So you're gonna design how each button looks. You're
Mhm,
gonna design uh how each heading looks. Like I said, this one has color.
mhm,
Um, is it what's the size of it? Um, and stuff. And so it's designing these icons. It's designing each little component first. 'Cause once you have your atoms or components designed, um, putting them together makes it a lot easier.
mhm.
Because everything is already designed, and you're not trying to figure stuff out. So a lot of this stuff has to do with a lot of pre-planning.
And it's definitely necessary. To me, it makes a lot of sense as far as
Yeah,
the looking at it from a this, like, because right now you're on the WordPress editor. So for those
yeah,
who are maybe listening to this on audio, but right now we're on video, but we're just demoing the WordPress editor. And based on your the concept, I don't know what you want to call it, so I'm just using concept
yeah,
for lack of a better term. But based on your concept, the correlation between this and then you're saying the word, because you're saying you've said the word atom and
yeah,
organisms. That's for most people out there. I would say that they would attribute that to biology,
yeah,
not
mhm, yeah,
development. So if people are attributing those terms, molecules and organisms and atoms,
okay,
and they're having to understand what you mean by that when you get it back into this developer world, I think that it would help pairing a image of showing a molecule, an atom, organism, some type of thing, and then having that say, okay, this is what I mean or what I'm referring to in the WordPress world. When I say components, blocks, um, setting, these features, I think a person would be able to
yeah,
visualize it more themselves, especially people who don't know the WordPress editor. You know,
Yeah.
or for people who don't, because let me keep it real with you. Most of us don't know biology like that until we
Mhm.
try to get in a drunken argument and say other things. Now all of a sudden we are biologists and specialists in the biology. Other than that,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying? People don't we I can say our people don't know, we don't biology like that. Come on now. Like
Yeah.
that's why I gotta give it
Yeah.
so if we break down things like that, I think it will be
Yeah.
helpful for people to see both sides.
So I'm gonna we're gonna break it down further
Yeah.
um
It's a good
a little.
concept though.
And so, I guess you could think, atoms are the individual pieces. Um, let's say, your fingers and your hand, um, you know, um, are atoms. But when you start combining stuff together, you get a molecule. You get your whole left arm,
Mm,
and stuff like that. And then when you get enough molecules together to make a organism, it becomes the whole body. It's a living, breathing thing. So yeah, I'm gonna break that down more. Like I said, I'm gonna use some of the iconic templates to break it down a lot more.
yeah, that would definitely give people a great because what we're aiming to do is give you all different perspectives of how you can see all this complicated and complex stuff, especially not being native from the world, right? If you ain't native from somewhere, from anywhere, you need to understand how things are done, not necessarily exactly like what they are all the time. But just understanding understanding how something is done doesn't mean somebody has to say it in your language. People can talk to you with sign language or with just visual communication, not verbal, and you can know exactly what they're talking about. Somebody puts their hand in front of you and they're from a different country, that probably still means stop, like to
Yeah.
move back. You know what I'm saying? You don't know me like that. Get back, get back. So, there's ways that we can communicate with each other for different cues. And that's something that I know you and I both, you bringing up the atomic, what was it called? The atomic
Design system.
design system. So you bringing up the atomic design system, or if it's any other um,
Yeah.
framework design.
Yeah. And like I said, frameworks and systems, that's gonna help you out a ton.
Yep.
Even in web development, we have, different frameworks from, you know, Bootstrap to what is it, Tailwind to
Mm,
whatever to help you develop faster. And it's just understanding frameworks, that frameworks are put in place to help you do things faster. Because stuff is already pre-built.
hmm hmm And that's what templates are at the end of
Mhm.
the day. They are different type of frameworks um, that help you build systems, help you build something in general. And speaking of um, templates, I want to share real quick that if you are interested in testing some of ours, let me share this our try it page. We have updated it. So obviously it's gonna be a shameless plug as they say. But definitely you don't know until people don't know until you tell them. Um wait 1 second. And so for transparency's sake, because that's what we about here. At least for the most part. Some of y'all, you can't tell everybody everything because some people just go ahead and start telling everybody. You have people out there. You say, "I don't tell nobody," and then they tell the world. I won't tell nobody else. You already told the world. Ain't nobody else to tell. Uh, but for the most part, we definitely had a nice when I say nice, it wasn't really so nice, so I'll be a little sarcastic, but we definitely had what was needed was a hard launch. It was supposed to be a soft launch, but it ended up being a hard launch because as a first time startup, as the first time um, developing brand. I'm not a developer myself, but now our brand is in the development, product development industry. For the most part, yeah, I had to learn a lot of different things at the same time. So long story short, when we released, we didn't have certain things set up in the way that we should have had them, or optimized in the way that we should have them. We had to learn some things, but we got feedback from others, from community, from different communities, from our own network, and we've made a lot of changes and updates. So you can test our template themes. You can test them all filling out this form, and we have 5 that are ready to be tested. They're the same 5 that you'll see here, in any of these themes here, and you can test them fully, everything together at one time. And then we are going to be releasing soon update to our block library. Mark was just in the editor, and so we also use Cadence to deliver some of our patterns, like Cadence uses to deliver patterns, and we'll be having that soon. So I just wanted to share that. Yes, you just got to go there. It is iconictemplates.com. Click the try it button, and you should be able to try all of our template themes, brought to you by another little small plug, but InstaWP um, definitely has been there for us and been able to create this experience for you all, because everybody doesn't have an experience where you can try, not just demo, or not just look at the demo. You can try everything about our theme before you even decide, or make a decision if you want to pick it up or not. And it's thanks to InstaWP as far as their technology is concerned. I know Mark, you used InstaWP as well too, so you definitely vouch for their reliability,
Oh,
and
yeah.
feature. They're rich with feature set.
And it's always nice to see how they're growing and, like, now they're even getting into, like, hosting and, stuff like that. It's, developers, uh, dream. They have a lot of great development tools, and stuff there for developers.
I mean, yeah, that's why we can take it. And even if you're not a developer,
Yeah.
there are tools for you as well too. But for people like us, man, for developers, for agencies, um, for anybody who's looking to whip up sites real fast. You don't have to mess up your own hosting or bog up your own hosting. That's what InstaWP could be for. There's alternatives as well too that do it, but these are what we use, what we prefer. So use what you want to use, but it makes it easier for you. Is there anything
Oh,
while we wrap up that you want to touch on? Anything else?
nothing really. I don't think we have enough time, but we'll get on. We have some more of these to go.
Yes, yeah, we have many more to go. Um, is there anything with Learner Built that you are going to be doing in the I would say in the future, the near future? Anything like big changes or updates or anything that you're pushing or you're working on?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna be changing the website up in the direction a little bit. Like I said, it's currently focused on it's a lot of one-on-one tutoring and group tutorings. I think I'm gonna also add in there for people who are looking like for who don't need tutoring but are looking for fixes and just adding a few more different services.
And for the people who don't know or just joined in and didn't watch your intro, what is, because I said the name
Yeah.
and assuming like people just know, but what is Learner
Mhm.
Build?
Oh, so Learnerbuilt is my company. I called it Learnerbuilt because I do a lot of tutoring and I like to empower my learners to build their own site. And so through that empowerment, I hope they get the ability to learn WordPress and love it.
And is there any specific um thing, or like, is there any specific service or core offering or the specific thing that you guys do the most for people, that just in case somebody did need uh what you did, they actually have an idea?
So like I said, I do a ton of one-on-one tutoring from uh, just getting started to learning how to edit, make little edits, to even us, discussing features and what tools you might use, planning, and sometimes even earlier, sometimes full website builds where we take several sessions and we go over everything from page builders to learning the dashboard to a little bit of performance to security, um, and just going over a whole bunch of different features.
Yeah. I think for those who need the help, need that extra hand, because it's a lot of tutoring can be a lot of hand holding and a lot of guidance. And for people who need that, because people do need that.
Mhm.
Everybody can't do it on their own. Everybody doesn't want to do it themselves. And some people need reassurance that they know what they're doing already. And that's where Mark and Learner Built comes in to be able to be whatever you need at that time, within obviously the confines of what you can offer. I mean, obviously, you can't just be coming in and saying, be my therapist. That's not what this is about. Even though we all need therapists at some point in time, or therapy.
Ain't that the truth?
Therapy, however you therapute. But you can't come in saying that. But if you need the things that Mark does offer, the cool thing about his service is it's a lot of it's virtual, as far as I know.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be living in the same area, state, country. He can work with you, wherever you are. And so I think that that's awesome, because it definitely complements what we're doing with iconic templates. We're striving to build the tools, and it's not saying that our brands or what we're doing doesn't have some overlapping parts. I mean, that should happen when you get in alignment with somebody. There should be something that overlaps. If nothing overlaps and you're aligning with somebody else, I feel like there's something wrong. Like
Yeah.
if you're nothing but oil and water, you're just two things that just don't mix, and you thinking you about to just make, oh, we got, pepper and salt over here. It's about to be a great tasting meal. Okay, now you got to have something that overlaps. But those things that complement more than anything, I think, is what helps people um, move forward and move in longevity. And that's what we want to help bring when it comes to our tips and suggestions. Building out your website, making your website faster, making it better, making it more optimized for sales, conversions, whatever that may be. We're looking to help people do that in a efficient way. And so for the most part, I'm glad and grateful for everybody who's listening now. We're gonna rev this up slowly. This is about to be a slow cooker. I guess you call it a podcast. I don't, or a show. Right now, I don't think we've come up with the exact verbiage. But right now, for y'all, it's just hopefully some type of inspiration and some value, that you hear some things as we're going along this journey, and you're like, oh yeah, I could use that. I need that. And trust me, we gonna get into the weeds of stuff. This is just us on a warm up tour, for lack of a better terms. But yeah, we gonna get into the weeds of some stuff, and it's gonna be crazy, because I know you got some tricks up your sleeve, Mark, and I know I got some tricks up my sleeve that we don't necessarily just show anybody and everybody all the time. But yeah, is there anything else that you that's on your mind in general?
Um, no, I think it's gonna be a good venture for the both of us in the community. Even for some people to see two guys that look just like them, to sit here and talk WordPress and different tools and talk, about things going on in the WordPress community and life.
Yeah, and not be afraid to say what we want to say. Like, that's another thing too. Whether you agree or disagree or feel neutral, this is a space. This is, our comfortable space to, to say what we want to say. Obviously, not disrespecting or meaning to disrespect or anything like that. But yeah, man, I'm gonna leave you like I'm gonna leave it like this. For those of y'all who don't know, Google just did a crazy update, and that changed a lot. That's changing how things work forever. And what I mean by that is, and this is the nugget I'm leaving y'all with, if you don't know, because I've had to do research on it because one of my clients has just had a tank, and this is a big client, and I manage and help them with their Google Analytics systems. So they came, not panicking, but you know how it be in a panic mode,
Yeah.
and hit me up and said, "Hey, we just lost a lot of traffic, and our HubSpot and our Microsoft Clarity, which I helped them set up about a year ago, and they've been loving it ever since. Microsoft Clarity, because it helps them for conversion rate optimization and helps them know a lot of analytics that Google Analytics doesn't give them, like how many people are clicking, heat maps, click maps, all type of recordings, stuff you're not going to get in Google Analytics. They've been loving this. And this is a multi-million-dollar company I'm talking about. I just can't name names because I'm on a contract. However, they had an issue, and so I looked into it to see, because I already had said it was Google something, but then I showed them a report. I took a snapshot of their acquisition traffic report because I had a hunch. I said, we're using Pixel Your Site. So at first they came to me because I was the person who suggested using Pixel Your Site to put their pixel instead of Google Tag Manager. So naturally they came back to me. Hey, we had a tank. Is it Pixel Your Site? I'm like, no, it ain't. But I go to support just so I can, make you feel good. I go to support. Support says, no, it ain't us. So then I go to Google, and then Google. I look at Google, and Google had a recent update in
Yeah.
February, and a lot of publishers, content creators got hit in this recent update to combat AI generated content or low quality content. So a lot of businesses, hundreds of thousands of businesses, literally have went out of business in a matter of a month because a lot of businesses are SEO businesses, or they use SEO, aka getting your butt on Google from writing content, not just AdWords, writing content. Google has this update, and now your content ain't being seen, and you're losing sales. This is a real thing that just happened, y'all. So for
Yeah.
those y'all, people who are saying, you need to do this with SEO, do that with SEO, da, 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 and Google is rented land, same or borrowed traffic, the same way social media is not yours, you don't own that. You got to start thinking bigger, for now on in your marketing strategies and tactics, and not just use Google anymore, because now Google is getting to the point where they're just doing anything because the original founders, I mean, the original engineers no longer work there. You guys can go fact check this. You know what I'm saying? Don't take my word for it. The original engineers are no longer working there. So now you have a whole bunch of people just trying stuff. And while they're trying stuff and the bad stuff, because the original people are no longer there, they're literally hurting a lot of companies, a lot of people, because they own 90% of their search engine market share. They own 90%. And because of the fact that they want to really have a takeover scenario too. So you guys got to be careful, because if you notice, a lot of the search queries that you search for, they are no longer just leading to websites. They're giving you the answer there. And remember, their whole model was, hey, you put your content on our channel, and we'll take people from our channel to your website. Well, that kind of contradicts itself when you're giving these quick answers and you're telling them they don't need to go off the website. So they have a bigger plan that most of y'all don't know. And I'm just giving y'all a heads up right now. It's not going backwards. They'll continue to keep experimenting. Major companies like Quora and Reddit are going to get rewarded in the search because they're user generated content. So if you're creating a whole bunch of stuff, I was going to say the other word, but stuff with AI, and you're not updating it, making it seem like it's yours a little bit, I would be careful with y'all. It don't matter how fast your site is. Like, this goes back to the whole page speed and speed. It don't matter how fast your site is. Google not showing it. Before it was, if your site ain't fast, then nobody could buy what they can't see. Now it's, you got to have not just a fast site, you better have your stuff right, your content right, or else they are penalizing, and you will not make no money. And so you're forced to either use social media networks, or you're forced to use your own damn email list. And I'm telling y'all, it's hard most of our traffic comes from SEO. I guarantee most people out here, their traffic comes from Google, not from Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or even your email list. Most of it comes from Google, and then your email list and everything else makes up for the rest of that traffic. But Mark, what do you think about that real quick before we bounce? Like, what are your thoughts on that real quick? 'Cause that was a big deal for me.
Yeah, I think I mean Google's always coming out with updates, but so I think they'll probably revise it again, but they had to do something to combat AI, especially where these people are using others RSS feeds and using AI to rewrite their articles and post them. So there was a lot of theft going on too. So Google had to do something, and I wonder what Bing's gonna do. Right? Bing is that left out browser, and so a lot of people need to sign up for Bing as well, and not just rely on Microsoft. But I think really, with the thing of AI, I think marketing is gonna change. Like you said, it's gonna be email lists, and I think it's gonna be DMs.
Mm,
Um,
mm,
I think we're gonna see more companies use analytics to find people's interest
mm.
and start DMing those people different offers and stuff.
That's a good
So,
point. I didn't think about that.
mhm.
The DM way. Well,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, there's a lot of people that make a lot of money just
you.
by DM,
Like
and so that's the battle right now, right? The battle is email lists versus DMs,
3D.
right?
Yeah,
Because you have some people who are exclusively email lists, and some are exclusively DMs,
yeah.
and they're both making buku money, because they say
Thing is
with
big.
the DMs you get a more personal conversation.
And that's what it's about. It's about the one-to-one direct conversation.
Yeah,
Like the
mhm,
DMs, the emails, and text messaging, those are all direct conversations. When you're talking about search engine optimization, social media marketing, anything else in that sort, even build traditional marketing, those aren't direct conversations.
mhm,
There's middlemen, there's mediums in between the
mhm,
two. So yeah, you make a good point. So yeah, y'all just be watching out for that. Watch out for this, what we got going on here. If you have any questions, please feel free to DM us or just put it in the comments section, and we'll definitely get to your question or your comment in general. And peace. I want to thank everybody for stopping through.